Hello duelists, welcome back to the Crown Corp channel. My name is Bram and today I have another update video for you. So today we're going to be talking about the future of the Smart Duel project and also the things that have been happening recently. Maybe first a bit about myself. Life has been pretty hectic these last couple of months. So as you already know, I moved to a new house a couple of months ago. That's definitely a big adjustment. I've also been picking up a bit more responsibility at work. So for those of you who don't know, I am a software engineer by profession, a mobile app developer to be more specific. But recently I started to pick up some things outside of my role. So yeah, that's also definitely a big change. Apart from that, over the summer, I enrolled in a course over on Coursera. I think it's called the Meta AR Developer Professional Certificate program, something like that. But yeah, basically what that means is that I'm now a Meta certified AR developer. And actually, I recently uploaded a video here on YouTube where I showed you some of the work, some of the things that I worked on while following these courses. Thinking about it, I actually uploaded that video here on YouTube without giving you a lot of context. So here it is, I suppose. The reason why I enrolled in this program is because I was becoming a bit uncertain about my AR and my Unity skills. Because before working on the Smart Duel Gazer, I had never worked with Unity or augmented reality before. So yeah, I was feeling pretty uncertain about myself, but I do have to say that it is better now after this course. I learned a lot of new things and I'm definitely going to be able to use some of that new knowledge for the Smart Duel Gazer. But most importantly, I think it taught me that I actually already had the skills that I needed to be an AR developer. And I just needed this confidence boost. So yeah, now that it's here, I can finally continue working on the Smart Duel Gazer, which is going to be great. So there are actually three things that I want to focus on in the near future when it comes to the Smart Duel project. And the first one is something that you already know about, which is the physical Duel Playmat. I already created a video about it and also posted some updates on social media recently. But basically, the idea of the physical Duel Playmat is that you will be able to use physical trading cards, put them on a mat. The mat will be able to detect the cards, then send an event to a server, which can then send an event to an app, like for example the Smart Duel Gazer, which will show you the 3D model. So for example, if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon card in your hand, you place it down on the mat and then in an app, maybe one for an augmented reality headset, maybe an app for the smartphones, you will be able to see the Blue Eyes White Dragon really come to life, as you already have seen before. So in the previous video that I showed you, I was able to connect one NFC sensor to the Raspberry Pi, which is like the microcomputer that I'm using for this project, and that worked, which is great. But then the next challenge was to connect 8 NFC sensors, which basically means that I can detect the cards of 8 different zones on the playmat, which is actually ideal for Yu-Gi-Oh's Speed Duel format, because it only has 8 zones that hold a single card. So you have main monster zone 1, 2 and 3. You also have spell and trap zones 1, 2 and 3. And then you have the field zone and also the skill zone. Well, I don't think the skill zone is an actual zone, but yeah, it should have a zone, right? Where are you otherwise going to put your skill card? Now you might be wondering when I'm going to support the, what's it called? The main format or the master format? I think it's the latter one. You might be wondering when I'm going to support it, and honestly, I do want to, but there are two things that are holding me back, and one is that I don't really have 3D models for anything past like 5D's era cards. I have the models of some Xyz cards, I think, but definitely not a lot. So yeah, there are a lot of cards from, well, this decade of which I simply don't have 3D models, which really sucks. But that's one thing that's solvable. We could just use like a 3D model of a card for now, or just the artwork of the card. Sure, that's possible. But the other thing that's holding me back, especially for the physical Duel Playmat, is actually Xyz cards. So as far as I know, the NFC sensors that I'm using can only detect a single card. And of course, an Xyz card can have materials underneath, and you would have to be able to detect multiple cards. I haven't figured out yet how to do it, if it is even possible with the technology that I'm using right now. But yeah, that is something that I still will have to look into. So for now, I think that for Yu-Gi-Oh, I am going to still focus on the Speed Duel format. The next thing that I want to talk about is something that actually arrived on my doorstep earlier today, which is the Meta Quest 3. So it is the latest and greatest augmented reality, well, I shouldn't say that, mixed reality headsets created by Meta. It is definitely the most affordable mixed reality headset on the market right now. And yeah, I haven't really had the chance to play with it yet. I recorded an unboxing video earlier, but I still have to check it out. Currently, there are some apps that I'm installing. So yeah, something to look into after I'm done recording this video, I suppose. But what I want to do is bring the Smart Duel Gazer to this headset. So as you already know, the Smart Duel Gazer is currently available for Android phones, for iPhones, and also for the Envy Lite, which has actually been rebranded to the Xray Lite. They are AR glasses. I bought those a couple of, well, years ago, I think, at this point. But it didn't really take off, so yeah, I'm probably going to abandon those and focus on the Meta Quest instead, because it is certainly going to be the most, well, affordable, I already mentioned that, but also the most popular and the most adopted mixed reality headsets out there, at least for the coming months. So yeah, I don't really have any experience with the Meta Quests at all, or at least I have never developed an app for them. I'm going to look into that. And I was actually wondering if it is something that you would be interested in seeing, because some of you have asked me to also create more videos about the technical side of the project, the challenges that I face while programming and all that. So I'm wondering, would you like to see the journey of me exploring how to let the Smart Duel Gazer app run on the Meta Quest 3? If that is something that you're interested in, please let me know down below in the comments. And then the third thing that I wanted to talk to you about are new features for the Smart Duel Disc and the Smart Duel Gazer. So those apps have been out there for a while now, but I'm not entirely satisfied with them because, well, let's start with the Smart Duel Disc. The first thing is that the newsfeed is broken. I used to use like a Twitter API, or I should say an X API. Thanks for the rebranding, Elon Musk. I was using my Twitter feed as news, and now that the API is no longer free, I can't use it anymore. Or well, I suppose that I could, but then I would have to pay for it, and I'm not really interested in doing that. So yeah, I have to set up a new news feed, but that's only a small thing. Some of the other things that I'm not satisfied with are card building. Now you have to upload a specific file which contains all the information about your deck, but you need to create it in another tool and then import it into the Smart Duel Disc, and it works, but I think it's quite a hassle as a user of the app to do all of that. So yeah, what I would like to do is just add proper deck building to the Smart Duel Disc. And then the dueling experience. So the way you have to start a duel right now is that you need two people. You can't play by yourself. You can't have like a private room that you can use just to experiment or anything. You can't do that, which is one thing that sucks. And another thing is that you need, well, two people. One of them creates a room which has a code, and then you need to enter the code on the Smart Duel Gazer and the Smart Duel Disc. And that's also quite a hassle just to set up a duel. But once you've succeeded with that, when you are done playing your duel, you actually have to repeat the process again. You can't just press a button to start another duel or anything like that. If you want to do best 2 out of 3, then you will need to keep creating rooms until all the games are played, which also isn't a great experience. So 2 things that I want to do here is 1, add support for private rooms. I think it would also be super handy for me to test and to create videos if I didn't always need to connect to devices. And another thing that I would really like to add is matchmaking. So yeah, that you would be seeing, for example, how many people are online, that you could just press a button to start matchmaking, and that you would be connected to another player that is also looking for a match. This means that you will be able to play with strangers that you actually don't know. You don't know who you are going to face in your duel. And what that basically means is that I will also need to add a way to make sure that you are able to communicate with your opponent. For example, add text chat, or maybe add like voice support, like you would be able to call your opponent, maybe via Discord, maybe another app. Maybe I can just build it into the Smart Duel Disc. Yeah, not really sure about that. But those are basically, I think, the most important features that I wanted to add to the Smart Duel Disc right now. As for the Smart Dual Gazer, well, I will probably have my hands full right now with porting the app to the Meta Quest 3. But what I would love to do with the Smart Dual Gazer is also add audio here instead of only in the Smart Dual Disc. So add music, add sound effects, also add more special effects. Like for example, I showcased the polymerization special effect once, but it's still not available in the app. At least I think. I should probably have researched that before creating this video, but even I as a creator don't really know the status of that. So yeah, lots of things that I want to add to the apps that already exist. I think that this video is becoming a lot longer than I had hoped, but I also had a lot of things to talk to you about. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this update. I hope you're still excited about the project. If you're new here by any chance, make sure to join us on Discord. That's where most of the important updates are happening. That's where you can chat with other amazing people. There are some really great people here in this community that we've built. And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about right now. So yeah, make sure to join us on Discord, make sure to follow me on social media and to subscribe to the channel right here. And I hope to see you in the next video.